So good morning, everyone, and welcome to those who have just joined us. Welcome to the weekly meditation of the School of Christian Mysticism. And this morning, the passages we read were taken from Ezekiel chapter 28, verses 1 to 19, and the Proto-Gospel of James chapter 2, verses 1 to 13. Toward the One, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the messenger, the Christ Spirit. When I found and read the passages that I've just mentioned, particularly the Old Testament passage, my first thought was, what on earth can I do with that? The description of the terrible sins of the people of Tyre and what God was going to do to them. And then in the New Testament passage, there was the message of Jesus, that we should love our neighbor and try not to be judgmental. I took the passages into meditation, and as I did so, it leapt out to me that the passage from Ezekiel was the ego. It was a description of the ego, of our cravings, of our fears, of our doubts, of our vying with one another. On and on it went, and it just was so clear to me that this is the ego. And then in the passage from James, while the Lord in the Old Testament came in seemingly to punish the ego, the passage in the Old Testament is saying, don't judge, do away with judgment. A while ago, I came across a book called Feeding Your Demons by a woman called Tsultrim Allione. And she argues that Western metaphors for dealing with fear and war and disease and ego are always about fighting. They're the hero archetype, George and the Dragon, etc. But in the teachings of an 11th century female Buddhist teacher called Machtig Labdrön, she found a different argument. She takes a process which I have certainly found helpful for dealing with fears and doubts and other aspects of the ego which get in the way of our loving ourselves and others, and which seem to me to reflect Jesus' fundamental teaching, love thy neighbor as thyself, love thy neighbor as thyself. And I'd like to share the process with you in this meditation. But let's begin with a few moments of silence. Feel the weight of our bodies on our seats, our feet on the ground, feeling our connection with Mother Earth, taking a few long, deep breaths, breathing in the renewing energies of Mother Earth, and breathing out anything we don't want around us for the next half hour or so. As we breathe out those preoccupations into the earth, Mother Earth will turn them into compost. What Mahri Lodron taught in the 11th to 12th century was that in dealing with fears and doubts, with illness, with our ego, rather than struggle and fight, we should let go and accept and place in the fire of the love of Christ. And a century or so later, the poet Rumi expressed the same thought. I'm going to read the poem. Some of you I know will know it well. And as you listen, I ask you to notice if something around your own current struggles, inner struggles, arises in your minds. The poem is called The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He, she may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. To welcome and to let go is one of the most radically living, faith-filled gestures we can make in each moment of each day. It is an open-hearted embrace of all that is in ourselves and in the world. These are the words of Mary Morosky, the creator of the welcoming prayer, which again some of you will know, based on the teachings of Father Thomas Keating. Both the guest house and the welcoming prayer are a huge ask when we are faced with the subtleties and wiles of our own ego, so graphically delineated by Ezekiel in the guise of a prophecy about the fall of Tyre. So I'm now going to offer you a practice derived from the teachings of Machtig Ludron, and it's called Feeding Your Demons. Take the issue that arose for you from the poem The Guest House, or another that has come up since, and work through the 5 stages of the process as I describe it. Again, we begin with deep breaths. Take 5 long deep breaths, and with each out breath, relax and open a little more. Relax and let go into the space of silence and of love. Now, generate a heartfelt motivation to practice for the benefit of yourself and all beings. I believe profoundly that every time we overcome an aspect of our ego, we add to the light in the world and participate in the process of redemption. So the first step is to find the ego aspect, fear, doubt, worry, emotion, negative emotion, whatever it is. Find that aspect you want to work with and think of it as a demon. This relates to the temples and so on in India, which often have lots of ugly looking gargoyles and things all over there, and some medieval cathedrals in the West. And these are representative of these aspects of the ego. So we call it the aspect of the ego we're going to work with, we call the demon. Now, as you focus on that aspect, try to sense where it lodges in your body. We've been taught to believe that body and mind are separate, but of course we know now that that is not the case, and that everything that goes on in our mind is reflected in our bodies and vice versa. So just spend a little time focusing on your issue and then locating where it rests in your body. Now focus on that sensation and try to intensify it, becoming aware of its qualities. Does it have a color, a texture, a temperature? And now try to personify the demon, that sensation, that aspect of the ego. Make it into a figure with arms and legs and eyes, and see it facing you. It may emerge as some sort of distorted human or an animal, or even an inanimate object. If the latter, imagine what it would look like if it were personified. See it clearly, notice its color, skin surface, gender, size, character, emotional state. see it clearly and look it in the eye. It may take a while to emerge. Just stay calm and let the demon personify itself. Now ask the demon 3 questions. What do you want from me? What do you need from me? How will you feel if you get what you need? What do you want from me? What do you need from me? How will you feel if you get what you need? And now, in your imagination, change places with the demon. The demon was sitting opposite you. Now you're going to sit where the demon sat. And become the demon, allowing yourself a little time to sit in its shoes. And perhaps even notice how your normal self looks from the demon's point of view. Now, as the demon, answer the 3 questions that you asked. What I want from you, says the demon, is. What I need from you, says the demon, is. When my need is met, says the demon, I will feel. Now, come back to your original position. Take a moment to settle back there and see the demon in front of you. Now, imagine that you are dissolving your body, your being, into a nectar which would allow the demon to have its needs satisfied. And keep feeding that nectar to the demon, imagining it taking in and digesting the nectar. And keep feeding until you sense that the demon is satisfied. If the demon seems insatiable, then you may need the help of an ally. In place of the demon, perhaps a being of light will appear. If it doesn't, then ask for one. Ask for an ally to help in the feeding of the demon. In the overcoming of the obstacle. Notice what the ally looks like. Feel how it feels, the size of it. And ask the ally, how will you help me? How will you protect me? How can I gain access to you? Then step over and become the ally and answer those questions. I will help you by, I will protect you by, you can gain access to me by. Now return to your original position and take a moment to feel the help and protection coming from the ally. And imagine the ally dissolving into you. Then the last step is allowing the ally to dissolve into you and you to dissolve into emptiness. Let your mind relax and rest as long as you like, not trying to fill the space or make anything happen. Just relax into emptiness. And now give thanks for whatever experiences you have had during the process. Remember, you have an ally. Slowly become aware of your body and your everyday consciousness. O you, the maker, molder, and builder of the universe, build with your own hands the universal, our temple, for your divine message of love, harmony, and beauty. Amen. Thank you.